My name is Jalul and I'm a systems engineer here at LiveAction. Today I'll be walking you through the web UI dashboard of LiveNX. So let's get started. When you first log into LiveNX, you'll be presented with dashboards. Looking at the WAN dashboard basically shows the health of the WAN, so the site utilization, applications by bandwidth, by utilization, also the service provider information. And then you also have different widgets. You have the status widget that basically shows the health of the network. You have a map view showing all the different sites. Green will be good, amber will be a problem, and then you also have an overall status. The good thing about these widgets is you can always drill down. So I'm looking at the overall status and I see 5 of my applications reporting critical. I can click and LiveNX will basically open up a report that will show all those applications. I have VoIP, video, RTP audio experiencing problems. And then from here, I can keep drilling down. So let's say I want to focus on my VoIP application. I can click and LiveNX will represent all the information I need to understand why that application is having a problem. The inbound performance of the application, jitter, packet loss, outbound performance, again, jitter and packet loss, some quality of service information, DSCP for inbound traffic, as well as the outbound, and then the bandwidth information, inbound and outbound, and then all the source IPs and the destination IPs for that specific application. And then also within web UI, you have different workflows or stories. So let's take a look at some of those. On the WAN interface capacity story, LiveNX will be able to show the bandwidth changes. So if you have customers doing capacity planning, this is a great interface that shows the bandwidth changes of the interfaces. You can see I'm looking at different sites, the devices within the sites, the key interfaces, the direction, the capacity, and then the bandwidth utilization for each interface. And then within this report, we track the percentage change. So let's say you see changes of bandwidth utilization between last month and this month, LiveNX will be able to track that and show it on this report. And then we also track the CPU changes as well as the memory changes. Another unique thing about this report is you can always drill down. So let's say you see this interface using more bandwidth, I can click and LiveNX basically will show us the some of the reports to help us understand why that interface is using more bandwidth. So you can see the interface bandwidth, inbound, outbound, interface errors, interface utilization, quality of service drops, inbound, I don't see any, but I see some quality of service outbound, quality of service drops outbound. Also, down to the applications, who's consuming all that bandwidth? Top applications inbound, and then also the top applications outbound. And then the DSCP for those applications inbound and outbound. And then lastly, down to the source IPs and the destination IPs. All right, so also another workflow is the security flow analysis. And because LiveNX ingest all that flow data, we can help users use that data for security monitoring. So let's say you notice there was a malicious IP or an application on a network. You can use this report and filter down to that specific source IP or destination IP or the application name. And LiveNX will track who was talking to that IP or application, how long the conversation was going for, all within this report. Another workflow is the site-to-site analysis story, and this is great for SD-WAN monitoring. So you can see the health of the sites, the utilization between the sites, bandwidth. So you can see I'm looking at all my different sites. I see my data center, Austin, Tokyo, Sydney. The good thing about this report, let's say I want to find out what traffic is going between Tokyo and Sydney, I can click and LiveNX will basically show all the applications flowing between the sites, so the application name, the DSCP value for the application, and then the service provider or the path that the application is taking, and then lastly the status. And then what I can do with this data, I can actually hit play, and LiveNX will basically show us the path changes or how IWAN is rerouting traffic within the SD-WAN environment. And lastly, you have all the reports within LiveNX. Many of our customers, when they first deploy Live Action or LiveNX, they run the application report. This is a great report to help you understand how many applications you have on the network, who are the top talkers, who's consuming all that bandwidth. So on my screen, we're looking at all the top 10 applications. The CSSH is one of the top talkers. The good thing about these applications or these reports is you can always drill down. So let's say you want to find out more about Citrix or VoIP. I can right click on VoIP and do a DSCP report directly from this view. And LiveNX will basically show us the DSCP markings for VoIP. So if you have users complaining about VoIP application, this is a great report to start with and drill down to find out where the issues are coming from. And then also another unique thing about the web UI is you can create stacked reports. So let's say you want to email specific data, or maybe you want to pick up some really specific report that you want to share with the management or colleagues. You can come in here and pick up an application report, for example. Maybe I want to look at the DSCP value for those applications. They can come in and add a DSCP report to it, and then it can keep adding reports that will help me understand the performance or the utilization of my network. Okay, thank you very much for watching. This was just a quick overview showing some of the use cases of the web UI.